It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August the 1st. For the first time since I hit the Twin Cities, I am legally baked on the air. That's not true. I'm not baked, but I could be legally if I were that kind of guy. It's August 1st. It's the date of no turning back. So congratulations for those of you who celebrate.
Yeah, we got into a big discussion yesterday, me and a couple of my stoner buddies, about, what's that mean? I mean, you can't, because you can't legally buy it yet. There's all these stipulations. It's not going to be available legally in dispensaries till 2025.
Yep.
But, if you get busted with it, you're not going to get busted with it.
That's exactly
they've
right.
got to actually catch you in the act of, and really, are they going to prioritize busting potheads? I think you're good.
No, you're good. And if you are, if you find yourself with an extra, little bit here and there, and you're going to sit back and kick back and you're wondering what to put on now that you're legally stoned, you could do a lot worse than putting on anything involving Pee Wee Herman, Paul Reubens, who is and was always Pee Wee Herman, died yesterday at the age of 70. Paul Reubens was battling cancer for 6 years and did not let anybody in his outside of his very innermost circle know about that. A very surprising bit of news for even very close friends. The guy's been on the scene since the 70s when he joined the Groundlings, the legendary improv troupe in Los Angeles. Put the Pee Wee Herman TV show together with the great Phil Hartman. And then
you don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me.
That's...
I'm a loner, Daddy.
Yeah.
Just.
The movie Pee Wee's Big Adventure, let me see if I got this right. His first movie that he and Phil Hartman, first movie either of them ever were associated with. The director of that movie, Tim Burton, his first movie. The score, the music, I believe, was Danny Elfman's first score.
Was this first?
And Paul Reubens, for the record, what an amazing run as a character actor. His one spot on 30 Rock, do you remember where he's like this Austrian, a member of the royal family, and he's just completely bizarre. He looks 100, and he's like, "It's my 25th birthday," and he can't move. He goes, "I don't create joint fluid." That was his line in the show. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He had a lot of parts on a lot of things, just as Paul Reubens as an actor. Boy. Got a lot done in a career that was marked with some controversy, a lot of false stories to go with a couple that were real. But overall, boy, one of the most beloved members of the, if you will, comedy world and writing world in Hollywood. So just looking at tributes from everybody from Conan O'Brien to Jerry Seinfeld to just hundreds and hundreds of people. I have one friend in my life who was a friend of Paul Reubens for years and never spoke more highly of anybody that he knew and worked with. I mean, just literally says he's just one of the more special people ever. Like that thing you see in him, that glow, that just joyous everything. That's what he brought to everywhere he went. Apparently, all this to say, well done, Paul Reubens. Godspeed, sir.
All the way around. Yeah, I mean, Mystery Men, which isn't a movie I think a lot of people know, is a Ben Stiller project, and he played the Spleen, a superhero in it whose, superpower was farting.
Yeah, right, that's right.
And even in Blow, I mean, he played a wonderful cameo in the movie Blow starring Johnny Depp about the story of George Young. Is that his name, I believe, the cocaine dealer? And
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, he had a really good range as well. And then you talked about Pee Wee's, Big Adventure, that theme. Pee Wee's Playhouse, I didn't know until this morning. The theme song sung by Cyndi Lauper and written, also by Paul Reubens and Mark Mothersbaugh, Devo.
Really, really, really great. I remember when VHS box sets started coming out in the 90s and you could go find things again. The Pee Wee's Playhouse box set, just seeing that at a Tower Records and just thinking, oh my God, it's the holy grail. Taking it home and watching it still and just loving it as much as ever, man. Just huge.
Lawrence Fishburne, Cowboy Curtis.
Yep, yeah. He first was on, so Pee Wee Herman is a character he created while at Groundlings. This improv, like Groundlings has fed SNL for years. It's like SC, Second City in Chicago and Toronto. So much comedy comes out of Groundlings. He put together something called the Pee Wee Herman Show, a stage production that ran in L.A. It was a sold-out show for 5 or 6 months in L.A. You could not get. It was the hottest thing in town, and then HBO gave him a special. And so for a lot of people, myself included, the first time we ever saw that character was on. It's like HBO. It's like the Pee Wee Herman Show, and watching it that very first time. Me and a couple of my brothers were just staring at the TV with our mouth, like, what are we watching? What is this?
Yeah.
And all of that energy and the weird voices and the way he would just shift on a dime. But there was always so much heart in it, too. It was so there was never a dark. Even in 1980, you're waiting for it to go a little cynical or a little dark, and it was like, no, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, Paul
he was
Roop,
just lovable.
Yeah.
Here he is talking about how he came up with the character.
I was in an improvisation group in Los Angeles, the Groundlings, and they focused on character work and developing and creating characters. So he came out of an improv. The thing I like about Pee Wee Herman is that he has very little backstory. He's a character that I believe when you see him, you kind of get who he is. You don't have to really know very much.
Man, everybody's got a big butt. Why don't you tell me about your big butt? It's about as close to risque as it ever got in Pee Wee's Big Adventure. The biker scene, the tequila dance. There's so many. Those things are just indelible. Like, in Halloween, 85, 86, 87, how many Pee Wee Hermans did you see on the street?
Right.
Or characters from the show like Cherry.
Yeah.
Right. Or those comedies that you can share generationally. Because my kids and I love Pee Wee Herman's, but that was one I could share with them. I remember showing them Stripes or Animal House or something like that when they got a little older. And they're like, I remember after Stripes was over, I'm like, hey, classic, right? And they're like, yeah, Dad, that was really funny.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
You didn't like it? I didn't. What do you. But Pee Wee, that's their kids and their kids' kids, are going to love that.
It crosses over for sure.
All right, just getting started this morning. We have a lot to get to, including Mike Evans' Hollywood Report here at 6:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August the 1st. And why don't we go west, young men and women? Mike Evans, the Hollywood Report, is up right now. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning. Happy August to everybody.
Thank you, sir.
A little reminder, this report brought to you by Marcus Theater, simply the best. Marcus Theater is very proud to announce the value Tuesday, $6. That would be today for any movie, and 20% off all concessions. And don't forget the Oakdale Cinema, the South Bridge Crossing, and the Rosemount for a special movie experience and dining options. Really, really good, called the Take 5 Lounge. So, Steve, today is National Girlfriend Day. I know you're married, but wives can be like girlfriends, so be extra kind and do something with your girlfriend today.
Well, okay, fair enough. I got a lot of friends who are girls. I mean, I can do this in a nice, platonic, respectful way.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. The biggest story from Hollywood, of course, is the passing of Paul Pee Wee Herman Rubens, cancer, 70 years old. He had brain cancer surgery years ago. Don't know if that's the cancer that took his life. Paul's best friends were Joan Rivers, Robin Williams, and Conan O'Brien. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, that's a dark day for Gen X, man. I don't know anybody in my general age range that didn't grow up thinking he's pretty much the funniest guy ever.
Absolutely. I got a whole lot of TV news for you today. Starting off, Pat Sajak is in talks with Fox News and at least one other network to do a conservative political talk show. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen. You see, Pat Sajak loves to act. In fact, he has co-starred in at least a dozen stage plays with his best friend, a guy named Joe Moore, who is Honolulu's #1 TV news anchor. They served together in Vietnam, and they've remained friends the whole time. Anytime he has time off, he goes to Hawaii and they do a stage play. Last week they just finished the Sunshine Boys. So I think he's going to go into acting rather than this TV thing.
Sajak, a man of many unknown what am I trying to say? Pages in the book. I didn't know any of that about him.
There you go. Netflix may air a mockumentary inspired by the TV show The Office. This show they may air would star 3 unknowns who are part of a new TV job training class offered to inmates at the San Quentin State Penitentiary. So I guess if you want to get a TV, get arrested for a felony, go to San Quentin, you can learn how to do television.
Okay, I'll believe it when I see it.
How bizarre is that?
Hey, man, who needs writers when you got brilliant people coming up with ideas like that?
There you go. Big week for television this week. Tomorrow night, the 25th season of Big Brother, which always gets great ratings. Just a few of the new house guests that will be on this season include a top political consultant, a physician, and also a gold medal winner from the Deaf Olympics. The Deaf Olympics are held every 4 years, regular sporting events that people who are deaf compete in. This is one of their gold medal winners. I'll tell you what, if you give it a chance, you'll find it's easy to get hooked on. I find Big Brother. I almost always watch it every season. It's usually pretty good.
I said when it debuted, if it makes it 25 years, I'll tune in. So I guess now I gotta deliver. You know what I mean? Because I've never seen 1 second of it, but I guess 25 years, I gotta see what the fuss is about.
Thank God weed's now
legal. Get into it at all, Steve. I mean, you see these personalities and how they are conning each other. It's human behavior like you've never seen before.
Okay, all right.
Oh, and then the other big thing this week, Thursday night, NFL exhibition, first game of the year on television, NBC, the Hall of Fame game, New York Jets and Cleveland Browns. And Steve, I say, let the games begin. I'm ready for NFL football.
I will watch that aberration myself. You're gonna see Aaron Rodgers for a series, maybe 2 at most. You're gonna see a whole lot of guys that won't be on the rosters when opening day comes. But by God, it's real football, and I'm ready for it.
Absolutely. Okay, movie news. The View. That's VUE. VUE. It's a theater chain. It's the biggest theater chain in England, Germany, France, Spain, and Holland.
Okay.
They report the past 2 weeks, thanks to Barbie and Oppenheimer, have been the biggest 2 weeks, money-making 2 weeks in the company's history, and they've been around for 50 years.
That's pretty strong.
That's pretty strong.
That's pretty strong.
Wow.
And both of those movies, you know what? One thing those movies have in common, writers, good ones.
You're so right. I mean, the old saying is so true. If it's not on the page, it shouldn't be on the stage. But if it's on the page and it's good writing, that's the difference right there.
Absolutely.
Very strange odds and ends. Meghan Markle is shopping a book that she will write, and she says it'll be entitled "How to Make a Good First Impression" by Meghan Markle.
This is a joke, right?
No, it's not a joke. It's a true story.
Well, if it's anything like her podcast, someone will write it for her, and she'll just put her name on the bottom, and it'll be
perfect.
Yeah, something no one remembers.
How about this? Regarding the Screen Actors Guild strike, only 1.2% of their members, 1.2%, make their living acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, there you go. And finally, you can bet that Britney Spears is not going to get any Mother of the Year awards. She says she doesn't care that her sons, Jaden, 16, and Sean, 17, are moving to Hawaii with their dad. She said she doesn't care, says the further they're away, the better she is.
What? Really? Now, where did she say that? Who did she say that to?
It was on her website.
Oh, boy.
She said she doesn't want to say goodbye to him. Further away, that's fine.
Okay, then.
What is wrong with her?
How much time do we have?
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, shut up.
I don't blame her. She didn't have a chance, man. Poor kid. She just had a bunch of vultures running her life since she was 7 years old.
True.
Yeah,
And she's crazy.
Shut up.
I draw the comparison to her and Lindsay Lohan.
Oh my God, I'm gonna freak out.
Both very talented women, for the record, and both surrounded by crazy from day one.
You guys are crazy too.
Yeah. Does that mean Candace loves Britney Spears?
I love Britney Spears and I love Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but Candace was actually in disguise and was that person that said, "Leave Britney alone." That was
Wow.
actually Candace that did
Yep.
that.
Oh, sounded pretty much. Are you sure that wasn't you, Mike? That sounded pretty close.
Yeah.
That's it. He's gone.
That's pretty funny.
Had enough.
I outed him. I said that was you on that tape, and he hung up on me. See, he can't stand the heat. Get out of the kitchen, Evans.
That's great.
I mean, Grant, I don't. By the time you're pushing 40, you got to get your head out of your ass. But Brittany, come on, it's a miracle she's even alive, much less semi-coherent. When you think about everything she's been through since she was on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
Those parents and Lindsay Lohan's parents, when you look at your kid and you see dollar signs, it's not going to end well.
I know. I wish. I do see dollar signs going out the door.
Exactly. Yeah. The dollar signs I see are my dollars, and I'm signing them off for life. But my kids aren't crazy, so I got that going for me. Okay, let's do it. Are you ready to look back? Are we ready for a history lesson? Yes. Are we?
Well, our system wasn't. But
Well-
yes, we are.
Okay.
And now she's performing well.
What exactly is going on?
What exactly is going on?
Yeah, what exactly is going on?
We're going to have to bring in Gorman for questioning.
Steve. What's up?
Wow.
About that?
Luther. Is that from Luther on the BBC?
No.
Oh.
Another source I'm not going to divulge.
Because
there'll
there's
be more.
the Idris Elba TV where he's a cop, the show called Luther.
Yeah?
I saw one episode, and the guy, there's a guy named Steve Gorman, and he gets killed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're like, "Oh, Steve Gorman's dead? Oh no!" And I was like, "This is the best TV show I've ever seen."
How does he die?
Murder, just someone shoots him, I think.
Okay.
Hey, it's August 1st. On this day in 1978, Pete Rose went 0 for 4 against the Atlanta Braves, ending his hitting streak at 44 games. Still the closest anybody's ever come to DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. Gene Garber struck him out in the top of the 9th. Garber celebrated the Braves' victory by jumping into the air, punching his fist. He was excited. And then Pete Rose was hopping mad after the game. He said, most pitchers with a 16-4 lead will just challenge you. They ain't out there inning and outing you, up and downing you like it's Game 7 of the World Series. I was 12 when that happened, and I saw Pete Rose say that, and I went, what a pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
You're batting like it's Game 7 of the World Series, you punk.
Yeah, didn't he plow through someone at an all-star game?
At an all-star game. He ended Ray Fosse's career for the most part. On this day in 1996, in Atlanta, Georgia, during the 96 Summer Olympic Games, Michael Johnson in the gold shoes won the 200 meters. He ran the race in 19.32 seconds, which blew away the standing world record. He was so blown away when he saw the clock. There's an iconic photo of him with his arms spread and the look of shock on his face. The bronze medalist in that race didn't shake his hand, but rather went down to his knees and bowed at his feet because nobody had ever seen anything like it. 19.32 seconds. That's 2 100s at 9.66 seconds. Now you don't actually, you get up to top speed and hold your speed. So it's not like he could have won the 100. It's a different discipline. There's a different thing involved. But everyone on the world like me who doesn't pay attention to sports except for during the Olympics, track and field sports, I should say, I was like, wait a minute. No one's ever run a 9.600, and they hadn't. But in the middle of a 200, you can do these sort of things. Anyway, the point is, It was mind-boggling. And if you were around in 1996, that was the highlight of those Summer Olympics.
That reminds me of the Too Fast category on Jeopardy on Friday. Did you hear that category on Friday? Here it is, a little clip of it. I don't know if we've got that. Do we have it on? Am I up? Am I
don't see
No
it.
audio working this morning.
Wow.
Here it is. This is from Jeopardy on Friday. The category Too Fast.
Sharon? Real fast 400.
Real fast.
Sifan Hassan holds the women's world record in this track event. 4 minutes, 12.33 seconds. Sharon?
What is the 50-yard dash?
No, I'm sorry.
4 minutes.
I think a lot of us can do the 50-yard a little faster now. That's a mile. That's a mile she's running there.
Oh, wow. 50-yard. Do they have a 50-yard dash?
I wasn't very good at sports. That's why I'm on Jeopardy.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That is the definite article, The Boss, Bruce Springsteen, born in the USA. That was the soundtrack of 1984, 1985, and 1986, all around the world. At a time when Pee Wee Herman was the boss of comedy. Pee Wee Herman, an indelible mark left in the 1980s on future generations. Dead yesterday at the age of 70. Paul Reubens, the actor who played Pee Wee Herman, of course, is what I mean by that. He was kind of a weirdo. I mean, by design. Great character, as weird as it gets. But let's not kid ourselves. We're all pretty weird. We got some weird quirks. Everybody on this show, everybody listening to my voice right now, we got some weird ones. And you know, anytime you think to yourself, I wonder if anyone else does this, the answer is absolutely. I mean, we all put our own little wrinkle on our weird quirks, but let's not kid ourselves. We're just all a bunch of bozos on this bus.
The weird thing is we just don't want to share them together, right? I wonder if anyone else does this kind of stuff. I was just this morning thought that like the middle of last night, when you get up in the middle of the night and you go to the bathroom and you don't open your eyes, you try to keep your eyes closed so you can still pretend like you're asleep, and I'll go back to sleep faster. You think that's going
to work?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I the same thing. I wake up in the middle of the night and I will sabotage that, because I will go into the bathroom and I will have to pee. Let's just say, and I will do this thing I've done for years, which is, midway through the pee, I just flush the toilet. It's really hard for me to finish my pee before flushing. I have this whole thing where I'm like, I'm almost done. I'll go ahead and flush. It's like a habit from childhood or something. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then it's refilling the bowl and I'm still peeing, which means I got to wait, finish, let it fill up, and then flush again. Wasteful of water, and B, wasteful of my time. And if I do that in the middle of the night, then I'm wide awake by the time the whole process has repeated itself.
Yeah, that's not even a courtesy flush.
It's a necessary flush. Does anyone else, is that just me? Do you ever flush while peeing? I don't know if it's because I'm trying to see if I can beat the flush. You know,
it's a little game.
It's a little bit of a game there. Yeah. I did grow up in a house, speaking of weird, I grew up in a house where my dad hated the sound of pee hitting water. Like, you know, he'd always say, like, aim it to the side of the bowl. Like, if you were if he heard you peeing behind a closed door, he'd mention it to you. Like,
yeah, that was.
Oh wow! Did you have to turn on the water while you were going to mask it?
The whole thing. He had some issues.
I bet he didn't like it when someone just cut loose a fart either.
Not a fan. Not a real fan. Now, he occasionally would let something out, and then it'd be like, watch yourself. He'd make a little funny joke.
Watch yourself. Easy.
Take it easy. You know. But yeah, not a fan of anyone else doing that sort of thing.
My dad, absolutely. You were not allowed burping, sounds in the bathroom, keep it down. But just like cutting one loose, that kind of stuff. I would be amazed when I would stay overnight at a friend's house, and they would just fart in front of their family, and everyone would laugh. Yeah. I'm like, my God, you get backhanded at my house.
Yeah, I've had that same experience. The other one was just, it was like a verbal fart. If I saw somebody backtalk their parents, like as a young kid, you know, like, no, Mom, stop. Like if their mom was messing their hair or something, I would recoil in horror. Like, I can't believe you talked to her that way. And they'd look at me like, what sort of penitentiary are you growing up in? I was like, the Gorman Penitentiary, as a matter of fact.
I'm
Did you guys have to
for
say,
you.
Did you have to say sir? Either of you guys?
Oh, yeah.
To Pops? Really?
Yeah.
No, we didn't have to say sir, but I mean, there was a certain, etiquette. I mean, you didn't talk to Dad. You know, you didn't. I remember one time Dad's like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, screw that. I was just trying to be one of the guys. I was getting a little older. I was like 14. What'd you say?
Yeah.
I just said, screw that.
Yep.
You don't use that kind of language. Wow. It was just a little too loose for Dad.
No, we were sir and ma'am in the house for sure. Wow. And then I met friends, and they'd be like, "That's really weird." And I was like, "What do you mean it's weird?" I just thought everybody called their dad sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir.
I remember a friend just swearing in front of his dad, and his dad not thinking. I'm like, oh, you just said "damn," and your dad's wow, that's weird. You guys are
living loose over there.
Yeah,
you're breaking all the rules.
All the rules.
Do you ever? I've done this my whole life, and I have a couple. There's a couple of word things that are weird with me. Mirror and window. I always get. I when I start to say look in the mirror, I always have to make sure I don't say window. And if I want to say look out the window, I say look out the mirror. Those are forever linked and backwards in my brain. And I'm aware of it, so I catch myself. But there was, I had to really force myself. It's just one of those, I got them backwards as a kid, and it never unbackwarded. And also, the word Wednesday. This is another one people talk about. I always have to go Wednesday in my head.
I think of that.
Wednesday, yeah, always.
I still do one step further and even dumber, I think. I don't know if that's dumb, but I say Island. When I'm just typing, Island, island. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just throw the Island in there. I don't know. I get real phonetic, but Wednesday every time.
Wednesday every single time.
Or when you bump into something and say ouch, even though it didn't hurt, your just reaction is, Standard. Are you all right? No, it didn't even hurt. Yeah, sure. I just caught me off guard. I thought it was going to hurt.
I do that if I ever step on anything in bare feet, like a Chauncey's bone on the floor or something. Whether it hurts or not, if anything gets near my feet, I am recoiling in horror and pain, and then go, "Oh, that didn't hurt."
When I was a kid, I wouldn't react to pain if I stubbed a toe or something because I thought if they were making a hidden camera movie about my life, they'd see how tough I was, and I didn't react.
Wow.
They being,
I don't know,
just they, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm the weird one.
We have to put a pin in the show right now and stay right here. I'm sorry. You were making sure on the off chance a hidden camera, Alan Funt type candid camera documentary were being filmed about Tony Lee.
Yeah.
You wanted the world to know that's a tough kid.
Yeah.
That some bitch don't feel the pain.
You said we're all weird, Steve.
You were. This is like you're what, like in college?
Yeah. No.
This kind of goes on today.
Little younger. I passed a weird thing down to my son in a similar vein. When he was probably like in 6th grade, he was up in the front of the house, and he came back, and I could tell he was a little rattled, and I'm like, "What's going on?" He goes, "Nothing." I go, "What's going on?" And he goes, "I just had the weirdest thing." I said, "What?" He goes, "Well, when I'm in the house at night, and I'm in a room with a light on, and it's dark outside, I always think, someone's probably out there with a gun and they can see me and I can't see them and they'll shoot me through the window." And I literally looked at him and I was like, I did that. I was the exact same way as a kid. I was so afraid of the lone gunman, in my yard looking for me in the brightly lit living room of the house. Sure. That was a whole thing. I was like, oh, really? You guys are familiar? I thought that was just me and my son. That's a relief.
All right. Just this happens to me every day when you pee and it's clear. You're just really proud of yourself. I'm like, look how hydrated. I'm drinking as much. Likewise, the other day out golfing, and it's like yellow, almost orange.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was thirsty, but suddenly I felt lightheaded. I'm like, I'm dehydrated.
Sure.
I've got to get some water in me. And I get very proud of myself when it's clear.
I do remember a friend, his 3-year-old son. I was just like, we're all hanging out somewhere, and I heard a kid say, "Ooh, my pee-pee's clear, so I had enough water." And I was like, he's 3. Let that kid be a kid.
Yeah, right.
Come on, what's the matter with you?
I wonder if you guys go through this. This might just be a me thing. I don't know. But when you're being super sociable, you're at a party or a get-together or anything like that, happy hour or whatever, and you leave, you feel this great sense of relief. Even if it was fun, a get-together, just being sociable, just sort of that walking away like, oh, thank God I'm alone. That's over. No, just me? No?
I've had that. I've definitely had that when the door shuts behind you. As soon as you said that, what I imagined was it's a crisp, cold night. And so you're leaving the house, the door shuts behind you, and that's that breath of cold air to kind of wake you back up. It's like, okay, yeah, that's a good feeling to walk into the car. Like, all right, I got through that. It was good. No major faux pas, and now I'm back in the sanctity of my own bizarre thoughts.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right.
I've had that. Candace, come on. I mean, there's some weird wheelerness going on in your day to day, and I don't mean the goats either.
I don't know. I mean, I am just weird, but nothing sticks out.
Do you ever flush mid-pee? Probably not.
No.
You're probably not that way.
The odd thing, I think Candace is, I mean, her weirdness is, I mean, she
Constant.
walks alone. These are weird things that we all have in common.
Mm-hmm.
Raise your hand if you hang out with goats. You see what I'm saying? She has, her weird behavior seems to be, Candace oriented. It's
I
just
know.
her,
I
kind of
know.
her
So here's
thing.
something everybody does, and I'm going to assume that Wheeler is big on this. If you are sitting on the couch and you need to get up and go to the bathroom or get a glass of water or get a beer or whatever, if Gigi's on your lap, you explain to her why you're getting up. Right? I mean, you don't just move her out of the way. You give her the rundown.
I've done that before.
That happened yesterday. Well, it didn't happen yesterday. What happened yesterday was I had just sat down from doing a bunch of stuff, and Rosemary goes, "Oh, I didn't get my ice water," and I had just put the plate. I was preparing dinner and putting it on the plates and doing the whole thing, and I looked at her and she goes, "Well, Chauncey's with me," and I'm like, "He doesn't care." She's like, "I can't. I mean, he just laid down. He just put his head on my lap." I'm like, "And he'll put his head on the floor."
Yeah, right.
But of course, I'm up getting I'm okay. I'll go across the room and get the ice water.
I'm sure my roommate could tell you some weird thing. I realized yesterday though that I am the naked neighbor. Like, I am the one that is naked, and my neighbors have seen me naked just because my roommate likes to keep all the freaking windows open.
Wow. Well, hang on. What's that address?
Right.
I feel like that I've always been that person. I'm not going to, if I'm going to take a shower, I'm not going to, get fully dressed in the bathroom and then walk up to my room. I'm going to literally walk from the bathroom to my room naked.
Right.
Because it's my house.
Of course.
Do you ever have weird interactions with your neighbors? Like suddenly that guy that lived across the street is smiling and waving hello before he seemed disinterested.
Your lawn looks great, Candace.
Or you're getting leered at by the housewife that's like, "Oh, look at the young naked one that likes to show it off."
Or maybe you get home and you see your neighbor and he's booby trapping the front door with some weird thing to spray out, like a balloon full of milk that's going to hit your head when you open the front door. Gosh, you better clean that off, Candace. I'll be over here in the side yard.
Do you scamper quickly to the shower? Or do you linger purposely?
I definitely linger.
Yeah.
It's my house.
Right.
Sure.
Slow dance in front of the big bay window.
Plus, being naked is the best, don't you think?
Do you sit on your furniture naked?
No.
All right.
Oh, wow. Really?
Right, yeah. That's where you draw the line. I thought about that the other day. Got out of the shower. I like to, even though I dry off, like to just stay naked for a little bit, just so those hard to reach places air out. And then I wanted to plop down on the recliner there and watch some TV. And I thought, I don't want to do that naked. I just showered, but you know what I'm saying? All right. I think
really
you do.
Funny.
We're in our own way. All right.
You ever been at home? You ever sat down and had a full meal naked?
You know what I do?
I don't mean a post-coital snack. I'm talking it's just you get out of the shower, you towel off, and then you're at that particular moment, I need a grilled cheese, and you just go and make it and sit down and eat it naked. Have you ever done that?
You're like plates, knife and fork, napkin.
Right.
That's what I mean. I never have, but I'm just thinking. Suddenly, I'm I think I might need a naked steak soon. I might have to just do that. See what happens.
Nice.
I feel like I'm sloppy. I get stuff everywhere.
You ever done naked radio, guys? Is this something we should move into?
K-Buff. I did do a naked radio.
K-Buff.
We invited television reporters showed up to interview me and the whole thing.
Oh, right on.
It was Sioux City. It was stupid because it's radio, right?
Well,
Right.
For all anyone knows, we could all be naked right now.
We could be stoned right now.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, and it is time for us to give cool things away. I think that's what we're going to do, right? We got a game. We got a couple people on hold. We got tickets to give away. Why not? Check this out. Dexys is performing Saturday, November 4th at the Palace Theater, formerly known as Dexys Midnight Runners. I guess the Midnight Runners done run off, and now it's just Dexy. Well, it's Dexys. Come on, Eileen. Give me a break here. You know what I'm saying. That's happening November 4th at the Palace Theater. There's also a show, Hairball, Saturday, August 19th at the Isanti Rodeo Grounds. We got tickets to both. The winner of this game, Dexys. The runner-up, Hairball. Let's rock, shall we? Tony, what game are we playing today?
Man, it's so August 1st today, so let's do this.
Cool.
Hey, bud. Hey, you want to get high, man?
Weed. Pot.
Sweet Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
Chronic. Edibles.
THC.
Dark Night Kush.
Blueberry Kush.
OG Kush.
Dink Kush. Salvia.
Really good Kush.
The KQ Morning Show presents.
Are you high right now?
Are you high?
Are you high?
Marijuana is the bomb.
All right, yes. It's here. It's finally here, August 1st, and that means that recreational marijuana is legal here in the majestic Northland.
Don't judge us. It's legal.
Remember when it wasn't?
Yeah, yesterday sucked. Today's awesome.
God, so different. Well, let's possess and grow our own and play Are You High? Okay, so this is going to be weird. This is like a good drug, experimental. We'll give you a concept, and you describe it and explain it so a high person could grasp it.
Wow.
We'll give
How much time we got for this segment?
We'll give you 30 seconds, and then we'll all vote on who demonstrated the most creativity and clarity. Man, this could work, or this could be like a trap.
No, I like it. I like it. We're looking for the kind of dexterous mind that stands around with stoners wondering why I'm hanging around with stoners all the time. We've all had that experience.
Correct.
How do I explain to this group of stone people what we're trying to get across? Perfect. I love it. Candace, who is contestant/caller/guinea pig number one?
We have Monica from Bonita Springs, Florida.
Oh. Monica, good morning.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're wonderful, thanks. How's Bonita Springs, Florida?
Yeah.
How is it down there? Everything good?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's hot.
Sure.
Yeah. Flying up to see Dexys, are you?
Hey, I will if I win.
All right. Okay,
Yeah,
wow.
hell
For you.
yeah.
She is high.
I was actually up there a couple weeks ago to see Willie Nelson.
Sweet.
Oh,
That's
Willie,
fantastic.
Dexys, yeah.
I wonder when Dexys tours now, if all the women go in overalls and no shirts, like the chick in the video. Remember that?
Yes.
The first ever MTV's first side boob, the Dexys Midnight Runners video.
Yeah.
Not that I was a teenager staring at that or
No.
anything. All right, Monica. So we're going to play a game called Are You High? I imagine you just heard Tony explain it. He's going to explain it again, and then we'll see how you do. Tony?
Okay, Harmonica, we're going to give you just a concept question here, and you have 30 seconds to explain, describe, just basically answer the question like you were explaining it to a high person.
In a way that a stoned person might understand.
Or how you would do it as a high person.
Okay, either way. Perfect.
It's just pure fun.
Let's
All right.
do it.
Monica, there's an odd mammal called a platypus. Describe it and tell us why it exists.
Go.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay. Boy, I'm not even sure. There was a character, Perry something. He lives in the water. He's got a bill that's flat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know in life. I don't know.
I'm sobering up. Hurry.
He's kind of cute, and he lives in the water. That's all I know. I don't know.
Where does he live? Where's he from?
I don't know.
Bonita Springs.
That's
He's
exactly
from
right.
Bonita Springs, Florida. Yeah, that's it. He lives on the beach. He lives on Fort Myers Beach. I have no idea where he's from.
Very nice
but his
synopsis.
name was Perry in a character, and he's just really cute, and he's got a flat bill. He's kind of like a duck.
Well, I can tell you this. Monica chose to go with as if she's stoned with that answer, and it was well done.
Yeah, I think that was pretty thorough.
Bonita Springs, that's down like south of Tampa, correct?
Yeah, I'm by Fort Myers. I'm between Fort Myers
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Naples. Yeah, I actually sell real estate down here, so I cover Fort Myers Beach and whatnot, yeah.
Oh, right on. Yes, Sanibel,
got hammered.
Captiva, all that right in that area. It's very nice. Very nice part of the world.
It is, but we got wiped out with the hurricane.
I know. It's sad.
But we're coming back.
Let's give them 2 shots each.
Okay.
So I think Monica can have another.
Monica, we're going
toss
back
at
to
it.
back. It's theory or story or explanation number 2. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Let's do it.
All right, Monica, remember 30 seconds. What's a funnier word, waffle or balloon? And what makes it funnier? Go ahead.
Waffle. Because everybody goes to the Waffle House when they're drunk. and everybody has a good time, and they're everywhere, and everybody knows the Waffle House, and it's even part of the hurricane scale system something. If Waffle House shuts down, you know it's bad.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where I'm going with Waffle House, because everybody knows about it.
I like it. And, yeah, everyone does go when they're drunk, and everybody goes when they're stoned, because there's nothing better than a 2 a.m. Waffle House.
That's right.
Don't sleep on the Fiesta omelet. That's my Waffle House tip to you.
Oh,
Monica,
cheesy
well
grits.
done. Woo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Strong Waffle House take from Stoner Monica in Bonita Springs, Florida. We appreciate that. All right, hang on, Monica. We're going to see what your competition's got up their sleeve. Well done. We're very happy with your efforts. Candace, who's contestant number 2?
Tracy from Northfield.
Tracy, good morning.
Hey, good morning, man.
How you doing, man?
Oh, great. Got any weed?
Yeah, sure. I know a guy who knows a guy. Are you ready to play Are You High?
Oh, yeah, man.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, okay.
Are you high?
No, not yet.
Not yet. All right. Just a matter of time, though. Tony, let's see what Tracy's got.
Trace, expand your mind here. If you were reincarnated and came back in the next life as a household appliance, what would it be and why would you be a good one? You got 30 seconds. Go.
Wow, man. Probably come back as my wife's vibrator.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Right.
You want to expound on that?
Just so I could be down there all the time.
He's a romantic.
He certainly is. Any particular skills that lead you to believe you'd be successful at that? Probably best
I'm
left
really
unsaid.
I don't know.
Right on. Okay,
right.
Tracy, we appreciate that. I was thinking spatula, maybe a bottle opener.
That's weird you say spatula. That was my first thought.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
First thing I thought, too. Yeah. Nice plastic spatula on a wood handle like from IKEA.
My place feels a little empty, however, I don't have a vibrator household appliance. I'm short that one.
Sharper
doggone.
Image has that, I believe.
Yeah,
Do
the
they? All right.
mall's all open at 10.
All right,
you can
sounds
hook
good.
that up. All right, Tracy,
Not
well
just for
done,
women,
sir.
by the way.
Trace, we got one more for you. The cantaloupe has a bitter rival, a foe. What fruit is it, and why are they enemies? 30 seconds.
Wow.
Whoa, wow.
Yeah.
Cantaloupe is muskmelon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, it's round.
It is.
Tastes good.
Yeah.
Who's its enemy?
So who's its arch rival in the fruit world?
Muskmelon?
Oh, he's trying to steal his thunder.
Watermelon?
Why? Why not? That's the answer.
It's a question
Why not,
left.
man? Why not?
Wow.
Yeah, we're playing games, but we're not playing games. All right, guys. Monica explained the platypus.
Yeah.
And then why waffle is funnier than something else, but it's a great screed on the Waffle House. Tracy offered to come back in another world as a vibrator, and then threw out a muskmelon as the cantaloupe's greatest rival. I guess we got to put this to a vote from the KQ morning staff. Candace, why don't you give us your thoughts? Monica or Tracy, who's winning this version of Are You High?
Well, I really loved Monica's thorough explanations, but Tracy is my pick because, he's just not a selfish guy. He's thinking about other people.
Very nicely done. All right, there's a vote for Tracy. Let's see. Tony, what do you think?
Tracy, I think, gave us many things to ponder.
Yes, he did.
But I actually learned something deep and involved from Monica.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Monica.
Monica gets a vote. Fair enough. Zepp, what are you thinking, bro?
Tracy.
Tracy? Just not even a no-brainer.
No, but you had me at man.
Yeah, the man was pretty
Yeah, I
strong.
think that's,
Monica, we love you calling in from Bonita
Yeah.
Springs, and
I
I'm
love
happy
that.
to talk Waffle House at any time as a Southerner myself, but I'm afraid I have to go with Tracy as well. It's the giving nature of a man who wants to be his own wife's vibrator that I can't get past. So, Tracy, congrats, buddy. You've got tickets to see Dexys November 4th at DePalis Theater. Monica, book a flight for Hairball Saturday, August 19th at the Isanti Rodeo Grounds. Guys, thank you both for being our first ever contestants on Are You High? Well done.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Candace.
What was that?
Thank you, Candace.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome.
What, just the rest of us are just chopped liver here?
Yeah.
Wow, fair enough. That's a strong game right there, Tony.
Dude.
Man. So what fruit would you have said was the cantaloupe's arch enemy?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, the kiwi, of course.
Gotta be.
What about
Not
the
even
lemon
debatable.
melon?
What's that, Zep?
The lemon melon.
Lemon melon.
There's a new one. Yeah, they
Such a
just
thing?
concocted it in
Are you
Japan.
serious?
Yeah, it's coming to the United States, called the lemon melon. I'll send the story across. It's not that interesting, but they've crossbred a lemon with a melon.
Is it still in the citrus family?
I don't know.
Man.
I didn't read the story. I just saw that they...
Imagine, the best cantaloupe you've ever had.
I know.
Except now it sucks.
Would you rather be around... you're sober. Would you rather be around drunk people or stoned people?
Oh,
sober.
Stone
For sure.
people,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a right cross for being a funny guy.
I was just thinking, though, with drunk people, you could throw a right cross.
Well, that's very true. That's true. They won't notice. They won't get their feelings as hurt.
Yeah.
You punch a stone guy, his jaw hurts, and he starts going deep existentially.
Yeah, why, man? Why? Why would you do that?
Like, I could still feel the knuckles individually on my jaw. Yeah. I think you're generally safer with stoners too. You can leave the room for 3 minutes or an hour, and they don't know the difference.
Right. Don't turn
That's
your
good.
back on a drunk, right?
Yeah, no question. Hey, we got an author coming up.
I was sorry. I was exhaling a bong hit there. At 8, John Hunter talking about the most comprehensive biography of REM yet published. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Wednesday, August the 1st. The cars with just what I needed. People don't know what they need until someone else shows it to them, almost always. In the case of the automobile, Henry Ford, the guy at Ford who invented that whole system, the assembly line thing, he famously said, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse. As he was developing the Model A and Model T Fords. Pee Wee Herman, who we lost yesterday at the age of 70, the actor who played Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens, that's a guy who didn't ask what people wanted. He just came up with something nobody saw coming from a million miles away. That character, Pee Wee Herman, left an indelible mark on comedy and pop culture in general, hitting the scene in the early 80s and just exploding. Pee-wee's Big Adventure, for my money, as funny a movie as has ever been made. I mean, you can't have a movie that's funnier. You have this pantheon level when you get to a level, it's as funny as some, but nothing's funnier. You know what I mean? Just like more laughs per scene per minute than just about any other band. No one knew what to do with him. And in terms of rock, one of my favorite bands of all time is REM, and that's a band who just did something their own way in a way very few bands had ever done, if any had ever done before. I've always said they kind of invented modern rock and roll, starting with college radio into what we called indie rock, playing oddball gigs. They sort of made it up as they went along, and a million guys just like me got into bands because of them. There is a new book out called Maps and Legends, The Story of REM. It is far and away the most comprehensive story about the band REM, and the author is a man named John Hunter. He's on the horn right now. John, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Great, man. I'm happy to talk with you. REM is one of my favorite bands ever, and as influential and as impactful a band in my life as anybody. I always said I loved rock music because of the Beatles, and I play rock music because of REM. I'm one of about 8,000 college kids in the South in 1983 who went, I think I need to be in a band now, and that's credited largely to REM. They kind of invented college rock, didn't they?
Yeah, I was one of those 8,000 kids as well.
Yeah.
Yes. They definitely made an impact on me for sure in 1983 when I was 15.
You grew up in North Carolina. That was the stomping grounds for them before anybody in the world had ever heard of them. North Carolina, both Chapel Hill and Raleigh, great music scenes. I imagine you were going to see bands, REM and others, in that great club scene at that time.
Yeah, as I said, I was 15 in 1983, and I started going to clubs in 1984 when I was 16 because no one really seemed to care as far as letting you in. And I saw, I don't know if you remember the Connells, the DBs, Let's Active, Husker Du, the Replacements. And I saw REM for the first time in 1984. They did get some exposure on our local FM radio station, WQDR, because they did have all these connections to North Carolina. They had recorded their first 2 albums in Charlotte. So that was one way I became aware of them, was through their North Carolina connections.
The bands you just named, all bands that I was obsessed with at that time. That was like exactly my record collection. But what was it when you look back and as you're putting this story together to write this book? By the 90s, yeah, REM was one of the world's biggest bands, but way before that, in the 80s, they were already one of the most influential bands. What is it about them? What separated them from the jump, from the Replacements, from Husker Du, from Let's Active?
You know, at that time, I would say they were neck and neck with Husker Du and the Replacements, but they always did kind of have that X factor where they were kind of the Beatles of their time and place. You know, I think that was fairly obvious. You know, the first time I saw them in Durham, North Carolina in 1984, they were fantastic musically, but they also, I guess, just had that charisma. It's hard to put a finger on it.
What's the process
for... It was a really exciting time. Excuse me.
No, go ahead.
It was a really exciting time because, you know, I was born in 1968. I don't know how old you were in 83, but my mom was a big music fan, and I grew up listening to her record collection, the Beatles and the Stones and Dylan and all that. And there was sort of this sense, I guess I was a Generation X kid, there was this sense that we had missed something. You know, this amazing thing had happened in the 60s with the Beatles and the Stones, and now that was kind of over, and we just missed it. And then all of a sudden you could go see REM or the Replacements or Husker Du in a club, and it was like, wow, this is as exciting as anything that happened in the 60s, or at least it was to me at the time.
Yeah, to answer your question, I started college in 83, so I was right there with you. Seeing those bands, that's exactly how it impacted me. I thought, we've got our own scene that's not directly linked back to the first generation of rock stars or rock bands. It was like our own thing. And specifically in the South, it felt that way. But here in Minneapolis, the Minneapolis scene was as vibrant as anything coming out of the South at that time, with so many great bands. Did REM, to me, always seem to have more of a game plan? They had good management, all the things behind the scenes fans don't like to think about. They just sort of had all their ducks in a row. Is that fair to say?
I would agree. You mentioned the Minneapolis scene. I guess many people would say the Replacements were the Rolling Stones to REM's Beatles, and I would say that's true. But if you read Bob Mayer's excellent biography, Trouble Boys, about the Replacements, it's pretty clear that, as you just said, that REM had better management, had a better game plan. I guess
weren't quite as drunk
to do the things necessary to get their music on the radio where people outside the indie rock scene could hear them and like them.
Yeah, there was a thing with the Replacements as well. Good morning, John. Another voice on the show here. Big Replacements fan, having kind of come through that in the 80s here in Minneapolis. And there was also something very self-destructive about the Replacements within the band and the members in the band. And, of course, we know how that played out for Bob. But, so I think even though they may have been shooting for the same thing and they were on the same trajectory artistic-wise, there just was something with the Replacements that just wasn't going to stand the test of time or worldwide tours. When they had an opportunity for a big break, say on MTV or a big tour or something like that, they always sabotaged it. Where I thought REM always, made some of the smart plays, and I wouldn't say embraced it, but elevated it for themselves.
Well, for sure. I mean, when REM finally got on Saturday Night Live, I think in 1991, which was 5 or 6 years after the Replacements, they didn't sabotage their performance like the Replacements did.
Yeah.
I saw the Replacements in the spring of 1985, I think, at the Cat's Cradle in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and it was one of their infamous drunk shows. And I'll never forget it. They were, you could argue about whether they were self-destructive or not, but boy, they sure were incredible. And I saw them a few times after that where they played kind of more conventional shows as well, where they actually showed up and played the set list and acted professional. But, they were a fantastic band, and Westerberg is, one of the greatest songwriters ever, in my opinion.
Yes.
No question about it. This book of yours, Maps and Legends, 706 pages. That's a big banger of a book about REM, and the most comprehensive book to this date about their entire story. What's the time? I mean, when you have this idea, I think I'm gonna put a book together about REM, start to finish. How long did this take?
It took 5 years. I started, I think, in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'd been kicking around for a long time, and then I thought, I'll do it. And I drove to Athens and Atlanta to interview some people face to face, and then started writing it. And I guess I told my wife I was doing it, and I didn't want to let her down or look stupid in front of her, so I had to finish it.
It's always good to finish what you start. I give REM credit for a lot of things, and I give them credit for absolutely the greatest band breakup in history. There's no close second. They just put out a press release. We're done. Later, and every REM fan had the same thought. That's not a joke. They will never be a band again. And to this point in time, they still have it, and they still maintain that they did what they did when they did it, and it's over. They just always were the smartest guys in the room, weren't they?
Well, they certainly handled their breakup well, as you said, probably better than any other band in history, unlike the Beatles or Talking Heads or the Pixies or the Smiths, or, you could name pretty much every other rock band ever.
Yep.
They left on their own terms. I think, as you mentioned a second ago, unlike a band like the Pixies who reformed, REM did what they set out to do. They did it for 30 years. They accomplished everything they set out to do. I don't think there's any unfinished business where you would see them wanting to get back together. I think, as you said, I'm not sure anyone could have handled it better.
John Hunter, I'm looking forward to reading this book, which I will. Maps and Legends: The Story of REM. You're a Raleigh native, so I would have thrown out a Char Grill reference, the greatest hamburger I've ever had in my life. But I saw in your bio you played a club called the Rockfish Palace in Athens. Boy, that's insider information right there. Nobody remembers the Rockfish, but I do very much. What a hellhole that was. But it's a pleasure to speak with you, my man. All the best with the book.
Thank you so much, Steve.
You got it. See ya. The Rockfish Palace in Athens, Georgia. So in Athens, Georgia. So I know a lot of people listening remember the Minneapolis of the '80s. You had all these great rock bands coming out of this scene. Excuse me. And I was in Atlanta, but Athens was an hour east, and that was, Athens is the B-52s, Love Tractor, Pylon, REM, famously, and a bunch of other bands. The Kilkenny Cats were really good. At the same time, oddly enough, Widespread Panic came out of that same scene, a jam band for all these years. There's so many bands coming out of Athens back then. And you had two clubs that mattered, the 40 Watt and the Uptown Lounge. And playing either one of those was like a big deal. And then this place opened called the Rockfish Palace.
Yeah.
And we went over and played. We played the Rockfish Palace. I want to say it was the night after Thanksgiving, 1987. And the problem with the night after Thanksgiving in a college town is that everyone goes home. And so no one's out on a Friday night to see a band they've never heard of. We played the Rockfish Palace for 4 people, and 3 of them came with us from Atlanta.
Oh, my God.
And it was just one of those nights. You're like, oh, this is not cool. I could be at home not spending money to play a show right now.
The yelling out requests.
Yeah. We did. There was that one. There was a gig. We played the basement of a Chinese restaurant in Greensboro, North Carolina in that same time frame. And we played for one guy. There was one dude who paid at the door, and he walked in, and he said, "You know any Cougar?" That's what he said. Know any Cougar?
Oh, man.
And we knew, our guitar player knew just the Authority song, just that riff. That's all he knew, and we just played that for like a minute straight.
Oh.
And then that was it. And this is all in a 6-month span. we played a show so we played the Rockfish Palace for one stranger. We played Greensboro, North Carolina for one stranger. And we played Greenville, South Carolina for two strangers. And at that gig, the guy goes, y'all know any Doors? And we knew Love Me Two Times, just the riff. And we just played that for like 3 minutes straight. And the guy's like, man, y'all suck. And he walked out. He left.
I'm thinking the Blues Brothers playing Rawhide over and over.
Oh, it was those were lean days, boy.
Wow.
But we were just one of a billion bands out there. And REM really was they were the flag waver, the flag bearers of that entire movement. Absolutely in the South anyway. But they were the first band to really sort of, they always had a manager from day one. Like they had their buddy who had a law degree was managing them, and they were all partners. And they just ran it like a mom and pop shop from the jump. They just had such a smart approach. And, never in debt to a record company ever. Every record they ever made, they made it themselves and paid for it, and then then went to the label and said, here it is. They did so many things that so many bands would have all been better served to follow. Everyone emulated the vibe of the band, but nobody got the business side quite down like REM. So, but what I said earlier with the guy, John Hunter, whose book is coming out today, that band influenced. I mean, more people dropped out of college and started bands in the South anyway in the 80s than it was like the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. The first time a bunch of kids you saw REM, there was something about them because they weren't unapproachable. They didn't sound, you'd see them in a club and they were okay players, but they weren't like wizards. It wasn't Eddie Van Halen up there. It was Pete Buck. And and you couldn't understand a damn word the singer was singing, and somehow we all liked that. You just look back, it's like, what were we all thinking? But we were all thinking the same thing, which is, I want to do that right there. So, few things in rock history like REM in the 80s. I mean, they blew up, and by the 90s, they were household names, and they were huge all over the world. But what they accomplished before anybody had ever heard of them outside the South in the early 80s was pretty substantial in terms of number of bands that decided to do it because they were doing it.
If you, for some reason, some horrible reason, you and Rosemary had to go your separate ways, would it be maybe Michael Stipe or Peter Buck that you'd have call with the breakup for Rosemary?
Oh, definitely be Stipe because you couldn't understand what he was saying.
Right.
I'd want that to be unintelligible.
Remember Mark McGrath? We were talking of Sugar Ray did a cameo video, one of these celebrity videos for a young lady who wanted to break up with this guy.
Yep.
We got Mark McGrath. We played the audio a couple of weeks ago. Apparently, this is a thing that a lot of people are doing, getting C and D-list celebrities to break up with their other. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We've got to get into this dream thing. We have a dream analyst on tomorrow. We're pretty excited about that. We started the day, all four of us, batting around our weird dreams. And you can get your dream analyzed. We're going to tell you how you can do that tomorrow with our guest here at 8:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was Fleetwood Mac's Go Your Own Way. No word if it's true or not. The long bandied about rumor that when Lindsay and Stevie broke up, Stevie actually had Mick Fleetwood tell Lindsay. Actually, I just made that up.
Daddy Mick.
I just made that up. But if I were in Fleetwood Mac and I were breaking up with the lead singer, I'd want Mick to deliver the news. I mean, you got to have an intermediator in there. And why not? That seems to be the craze now. The app Cameo. The Cameo app, where here's what Cameo is if you don't know. You can go to an app on your phone called Cameo, download it, and then there are tons of celebrities. Not exactly Tom Hanks level, but you got a few B-listers, you got a lot of C-listers, you got a ton of D-listers, and they will deliver a personal greeting to a friend of yours for a fee. Like you can say, I want to spend $15 to wish someone a happy birthday, and then a list of people who will do it for $15 will pop up. Or if like say your mom just loves Richard Gere. Well, he's not on Cameo, but maybe like some extra from a Richard Gere movie is or something. I don't know.
One of the guys from Three Dog Night. My mom
you.
might go for that.
Okay, even better. Yeah, one of the guys from Three Dog Night, and he'll come on there and he'll say, I'm sorry, your mom's name?
Dottie.
Dottie, of course. He'll say, hey, Dottie, Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and I want you to know it's happy birthday. They'll just come up with some. Yeah. It's a nice thing. It's kind of funny. But now the latest trend with Cameo videos is people are hiring celebrities to inform their significant other that the relationship has ended. So
it's pretty funny.
It's really funny. You're getting dumped, not by your girlfriend or boyfriend, but by, let's say, the dude from Sugar Ray.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of that.
What's up, Braden? It is Mark McGrath from the band Sugar Ray. This cameo was booked by Cheyenne, and she wants you to know a few things. And this is a little difficult for me to say, but she wants you to know that you mean a lot to her. You mean the world to her. But she's having difficulty staying in this long-distance relationship.
Oof.
You know, it's tough. I've been on the road for years, and I've been with my wife a long time, and the biggest arguments, the biggest, obstacles in our relationships is the distance between us. All the love in the world, and do your best on that thesis, man. I know it's
the best ever.
All right.
As you prepare for your thesis, I'm dumping you on behalf of your girlfriend.
Like, he's trying to identify with the guy, too, and bond with him. I know about long distances.
But shoving it in his face.
Right.
My wife and I, we've been together for a very long time.
Yeah.
And we understand how tough it is. Not as tough as you have it, because we're still together. The question is, who would Mike McGrath's wife hire to dump him? You have to go higher up the food chain. So, I don't know, she'd bring in like Danny Bonaducci or somebody to dump him.
Right,
which makes perfect sense, because I was thinking about this. If I were to get a cameo video that my wife hired someone to break up with me, she would probably know this too. Get one of the Brady girls. Get Maureen McCormick or maybe Eve Plum, like somebody like that. How could I ever be mad at Jan?
Right. Soften the blow a little bit, yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you, the relationship's over.
Jan. Would you then throw in a, are you available? That's right. It's one way. You're not having a conversation.
That's right.
They're just sending you a video.
Well, if it was Maureen McCormick, she would, of course, say, sorry, Steve, something suddenly came up. And this relationship's over. But you got to go deep into my, personal past. You got to understand the significance of the Brady family to me. So that would work for me. Tony, if God forbid, if Rachel were to pull the plug, who would, if you had to hear it from somebody, who would be the least painful celebrity to break up your marriage?
Maybe Jimmy Walker from Good Times.
Dino,
we spoke to him last month. He was great.
Yeah, he's lovable.
Yeah.
Or maybe Gilligan.
Butt. Yeah.
Bob Denver's not with us anymore, unfortunately. Yeah. Jimmy Walker certainly is.
Jimmy Walker would be cool. He'd have to wear his bucket hat, too.
It'd be great. Get McEnroe on there.
Oh, you cannot be serious.
You thought this relationship had legs? You cannot be serious. Are you blind?
You've crossed the line or over the line. How's that work in tennis? I don't know.
Candace, if you were to hear that your relationship with a special guy was ending, is there a certain celeb that would make it go down a little? What sugar would wash the medicine down the easiest for you?
Well, Ozzy's probably the obvious answer.
Sure.
Jennifer Garner's another obvious answer because she feels
D-list celebrities.
She is not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying it has to be a nobody.
Yeah, if anybody's thinking of breaking up with Candace ever, your cameo is going to cost a fortune.
Yeah, wow, Ozzy.
No, I don't want to choose them. I'm just saying those are the obvious answers you'd think I'd choose. I'm going to choose Jeremy Allen White from The Bear because he's so hot. I would totally forget all about.
He's a cool
that
guy.
dude.
Oh, really?
Okay, is he a nobody?
No,
he's getting there. He's climbing and climbing
up to maybe a C.
Oh no, I know he's a B at this point after Shameless and now The Bear. Candace, I mean, Candace is not a cheap date, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're hearing today.
If Ozzy did it, he might screw it up. The guy might go, I think Candace is proposing. Or no, you might. That's right. I forget. It's back to you.
Yeah, it's back to you.
Because I think he's proposing to me.
Candace, it's Ozzy Osbourne, and I've got some news. I want you to come out and be my bass player. Wait, no? What is it? Oh, he's off with you. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I've given it some thought. I don't know. Do you think Charlie Sheen has dropped down to the D list.
Yes.
I would want Charlie Sheen to deliver it to me. Listen, Zepp.
Listen, man.
Yeah, I feel like we've, walked some of the same path.
Sure. Well, and by the way, he's not. He just is happy for the work, so he's doing them for free. I would imagine. You just gotta get him. You just gotta get his attention. But if you get it, you can lock him down.
Man, Maria's pretty frugal. So Charlie Sheen's out there, Maria. If you're
you
listening.
guys aren't communicating anymore.
Winning. Hey, Zepp, why don't you come on out and join me? We'll have a good time, man. We'll roll some hookers.
Jeez, Charlie Sheen.
We shared a cockpit once.
If I got a...
What?
Sorry?
Was it painful?
Is that a euphemism,
no.
or were you in a plane?
In fact, we puked in the same cockpit. We were in a plane.
Again, a euphemism, or were you on a plane?
No, we were with. I got a chance to go up with one of the Blue Angels once in an F-18A, and I did. I want to say, by the way, although I did puke, that I was going through the ringer. He was giving me the full show.
Yeah, he was.
That's what he tells everyone. No, God, I never do that maneuver with anyone else. But he said, if it makes you feel any better, Charlie Sheen was just back there puking in a bag last week. Giving Charlie Sheen a ride, yeah.
That made you throw up.
But you do it again, though.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, even if I knew I was going to puke again, you bet.
I would, and I'd be so excited. If the Blue Angels offered me that trip, I would take it. And if they said, we need you to eat a fully comprehensive Indian meal before the flight, I'd be like, fine, do it. I don't care.
I went with Cheerios that morning.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
No, that would be absolutely fantastic. Tomorrow on the KQ Morning Show, we are going to be speaking with a dream analyst, a woman who can tell us what our dreams actually mean.
Is anyone else nervous?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Because I have a very vivid dream life. There are mornings when I wake up and I'm exhausted because of all that I've done in my sleep. I've crossed deserts and I've crossed oceans, and I get a lot done in my dream life, and sometimes it wears me out. But I've always had very, very vivid dreams. As long as I can remember, I've had dreams that I wake up and I just sit there for a few minutes processing them, going, what the hell just happened in my untethered subconscious?
I can't wait to ask her, but I have dreams that reference past dreams I've had.
Oh, as do I. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Things that happen in past dreams.
Yep.
You will remember in your dream.
Yep.
Or
That's
like
so
a
weird.
series of dreams. Do you ever have dreams where it picks up where the last, or it could be, it could be a series. Like, this one has kind of the same theme with some of the same characters in it as that other dream that I had last week, and it seems to be a series that's ongoing.
That's fascinating. Wow.
That's so cool.
Categorization. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's we can talk about all kinds of dreams, but I do want to run this up the flagpole today in anticipation of tomorrow's dreamscape conversation. There are 5 common sex dreams that people have, and I thought it would be behoove us to discuss them. And here's what they mean in case any of us have ever had any of these. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1, a dream where you get it on with an ex.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this says it could either mean you have unresolved issues with them or you miss that level of intimacy because you're missing it in your current relationship. I beg to differ. I don't think that's what that means. I think it's just the kind of thing you think about because, it's like saying I had a dream that I was on a roller coaster once and it was fun, but I liked the next roller coaster I'm going to get on too. I mean, I don't think that means you have unresolved issues. I think a pleasant memory pops into your head and then you're dreaming about it.
Yeah, you've only had sex with so many people, and especially in a relationship where it gets a bit more intimate and intense, and that's a big thing in your life. Sure. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I wonder. You have to take it with a grain of salt too. I don't know if every dream. That's what I'm going to tell myself tomorrow when I tell our dream analyst my dream, and she goes, "You are a serial killer."
She's
I'm
going
going
to
to say, "Well, there's more than one way to interpret a dream."
Well, she won't say that on air, but she'll text the rest of us. Watch out for him.
Yeah, don't turn your back.
What
on
about
Zach.
this one? Here's another dream a lot of people say they have, having sex with a celebrity in a dream.
I like to think of them as a future ex.
Okay.
Jennifer Connelly. Yeah, it's happened. I'd say that's rare for me. What about you guys?
Elizabeth Montgomery from Bewitched.
Back off Jennifer Connelly. First things first. Okay.
See, there's going to be a dream fight.
I don't recall having sex with a celebrity, but I recall having dreams where that may be it might be on the table, but then something's in the way. It's like, come on, man, get out of here. Get out of here. There's just like a problem with it.
Can't complete it. I
see. Not
All
exactly.
Right.
Candace, is that something you've experienced? Not someone interrupting you, but have you had a dream where you are with a celebrity?
Stephen Colbert.
None really stick out. Mine are more personal. They're the people in my life.
Mm-hmm. So no Captain Kangaroo fun dreams.
Mr. Green Jeans watching.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. Green Jeans was packing. He's like a draft horse, that guy.
Of course he is.
I'm just wondering if my category I'm thinking of is on this list.
Okay, how about this one? Dreaming of your partner cheating on you.
Ooh.
That's called a nightmare, not a dream. Yeah. And I've never had that. I've never had that dream. I probably will tonight. I'll wake up furious.
Have I ever had a dream about Tony's partner cheating on him?
This list, this list I'm reading. I mean, every one of these, they're too obvious what they say they means. I mean, because in this list, it's like this could mean you're nervous. They're cheating in real life. No, stop.
Right.
There's always more. Everything's about sex except sex. That's what Freud said, right? Or some movie said that. I just don't think this is it. How about this one? Getting it on with your boss. I guess we don't have to answer this.
Well, just recently, Wade is a blonde and Maria's a blonde, I suppose.
Interchangeable.
And now that I think about it, I think I did have a Wade sex dream a couple of nights ago.
Well, your heart wants what it wants.
I've had a lot of coworker dreams. And
oh.
Don't worry, guys. With you, if I've dreamed about you, we just cut right to having children. There's no sex. We're just having the kids. We're moving on with our lives.
Is that a stork coming in?
It's a mix of relief and disappointment.
I gotta be honest. You skip the fun stuff and went right to the kid. All right.
Really? I still have to be a responsible dad in your dreams, much less the real world. Jeez, oh, Pete.
What a crock, man.
Yeah, talk about drawing the weak straw, the short straw in that one. God.
But other people in this building.
Watch it.
Easy. All right, we're going to bail on this. Oh, first of all, do we have the Dream Analyst question up on our Facebook page? It is up. So if you have a dream you want analyzed tomorrow, just for, to try and organize this a bit, get on the KQ Facebook page sometime today at your leisure and fill in your dream. And then we'll cherry pick a few tomorrow and put them in front of our Dream Analyst. We'll probably take some calls as well tomorrow, but this will give us a chance to get a little organized before we have our Dream Analyst on tomorrow. Jump on the KQRS Facebook page and enter your dream. Well, gang, the Nudity Confidence Survey is out. You heard me, the Nudity Confidence Survey. This is a real thing, and this is the AMA, the American Medical Association, does this every year. They just want to know how you feel about nudity, and they've ranked the states where people are most comfortable being naked and the states where they're least comfortable being naked. We have the results at 9 o'clock. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August the 1st. If you got them, spark them up, baby. Weed is everywhere. We have decriminalized the marijuana in the state of Minnesota, and as of today, smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, I was in Montana living there when they decriminalized weed, made recreational weed legal. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you this, start reading the police reports. Now it's not going to be readily available to everyone who wants to get it, especially the edibles and the good stuff, here until probably 2025. But after that happens, you might want to just touch on the police reports. Maybe we'll do it ourselves. They get really weird after that. A lot of paranoia, a lot of, there's someone outside, they're standing on the side. Yeah, they're just walking past you. Dummy.
Yeah.
A lot of, because the weed, a lot of especially baby boomers, Gen Xers that smoked a little pot when they were younger, coming back to weed. Now it's an in thing. There's not such a taboo on it, right? Socially?
Well, no, not at all. And there's also, for a lot of people, this is interesting to me, but I understand it. In states where weed becomes legal, that's the last barrier. There are a lot of people who are like, well, I'd love to get stoned again, but, they're a little nervous about it. They don't like like breaking the law. They're worried they'll get popped. And now you will see people, a lot of people be like, man, I haven't been stoned in like 25 years, but hey, I'll try a little something.
Yeah.
Here's something for anyone who's thinking that way. It's way stronger now. You can't find the weed we had in the 80s.
No.
That doesn't exist. That's not even considered weed anymore.
No.
If you took the average college stoner right now and gave him the skunk weed we were chasing down in 1984, they would literally look at you and go, yeah, but where's the pot?
Right. They'd want to laugh in your face, but they wouldn't be stoned enough to laugh in your face. It's I think somebody did a comparison one time, and a joint now is like has the same THC content as an ounce did back then. Now a bud tender is going to call me up and tell me to shut my face. But
no, it can, yeah.
And then the edibles, because a lot of people are going to want to go smoking. A lot of people smoke, and that's not good for you, and inhaling that into your lungs. So I'm going to try the edibles. I'll play it safe. Look at all this fun stuff. There's chocolate-covered pretzels and cookies and ice cream and soda and everything else. And you're going to try those edibles, and it will be like when you dropped acid when you were a kid. That comparable. It's going to whack you out that much and really freak you out. Small doses. What do they call it? Microdosing.
Microdosing.
Yeah, just nibble on it.
Yeah, you gotta put that toe in the water. Don't put the foot in. Just put that toe.
Don't cannonball.
Check the temperature. Wait an hour. Yeah. Let's go. Let's keep it together, people.
Right.
I had one crazy. I may have shared this story with you before, but we had a bus driver with a terrible stutter. And one day on a day off, he was cleaning the tour bus, as bus drivers do on days off. And there was a plate in the front lounge that had several big chocolate chip cookies on there. And these chocolate chip cookies had been delivered to the band by a trusted friend who said about a quarter cookie each. Trust me. They were so strongly baked in with THC that the professional stoners in my organization were eating a quarter cookie.
Quarter
cookie, or maybe a half if you got a long ride. But it'll really, and plus when you ingest it, when you eat this, when you eat pot brownies or pot cookies, it stays in your system way longer. Like it takes longer for it to come on, but then boy, are you stoned for a long time. And our bus driver, who we had for years, a wonderful man, had a very significant stutter. And while cleaning the bus on this day off, he said, well, I mean, while I'm doing this, I'll have a cookie. And he had it and he ate it and he enjoyed it. And then he had another one.
Oh, no.
He ate 2 full cookies.
All right.
And when he called our tour manager to say something's very, very, very wrong with me, I'm on the bus and I can't stand, he ran over, got to the bus, said, David, you didn't eat those cookies, did you? And he was like, yep. And he goes, man, we thought everybody knew what these were. They had a pretty long conversation. Our tour manager had to get him off the bus and escort him to his hotel room. At some point, our tour manager realized he's not stuttering.
Not at all.
And he was speaking for the first time in his life without a stutter.
No kidding.
Not speaking quickly, having trouble getting the words out, but when he would get a sentence and he would just start to flow, there was no stutter whatsoever.
Isn't that interesting? Well, it is medicinal as well. We know that,
absolutely.
Obviously.
So this happened on let's say it's a Thursday, right? It's a day off, and this was in Chicago. The following day, Friday, we had a gig in Milwaukee, which is only an hour and a half drive. And so we stayed in Chicago, and the plan is, 2 in the afternoon, let's drive up to Milwaukee, sound check, play the gig, drive back to Chicago. The following day, 24 hours later, we had to call in another driver because he still was not ready to drive.
Wow. Yeah, it lingers. And then you get that fog.
Yep, 36 hours of just completely incapacitated.
From 2 cookies.
Two full chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
So all this to say, hey, guys, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to be careful out there.
Yeah, very, very, very
putting your
careful.
toes in that water. If you get too stoned that you kind of lose sense of yourself, you might end up just taking all your clothes off.
I know people that have done that.
People have done that. And so a recent survey on nakedness, there are states where the people are most confident without their clothes. The people feel the most comfortable walking around nude. And I just see a list like this and I'm like, oh, what are they counting, like the Virgin Islands in here? Or are we going with like territories too? Because I would just assume it's people who are on an island. That's what I would imagine. Not so. Not that at all. The most confident state to walk around nude, Washington State.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's earthy.
That Olympia beer just gets in your bloodstream, and you're just like, I got to shed these clothes.
Right.
How about this? Rhode Island, number 2.
Peculiar.
Why?
I don't know. It's all Newport, the boating, I guess. You're near the water.
Just don't know better.
Could be. You're all. It's all old like tycoon train money, so they don't give a crap about social norms.
Big estates,
Tycoon
private.
train money.
This is what it's. I look at Rhode Island and I just think it's like Rhode Island's the ultimate haves and have-not state. It's Newport, and it's like, here's my $26 billion yacht on my estate, and then there's the guy. Then there's the shanty town over by the tracks.
Here's what I know about Rhode
Nothing
Island.
in the middle.
The Farrelly brothers are from Rhode Island, so
There you go.
maybe that explains it. I don't know. There's a lot of weirdos there. I don't know. They're from Rhode Island.
I believe Peter Griffin lives in Rhode Island. How about this? Delaware.
Oh, all right. In the neck of the woods.
Well,
same
here's a
neighborhood.
weird run.
Yeah.
You go Washington, then you go right to Rhode Island, Delaware, and Maryland.
Huh.
Mid-Atlantic. It's a boating culture in Maryland, the Chesapeake Bay, a whole thing right there.
I have a cousin, close cousin, that's lives in Maryland. She's fairly bohemian. I could see her doing the naked thing. I mean, not visualizing it, but you know what I mean.
Well, and then this makes perfect sense. Number 5, Colorado. Back to the edibles and back to the I'm so stoned I got to get naked.
Washington, Colorado, there's a direct line there. And then Rhode Island, Delaware, and Maryland.
Yeah.
All right.
Huh. Well, anyway, so in those places, they're very comfortable being naked. I don't have a listing for Minnesota, but as we learned earlier in the show, Candace's house, a place where people are very comfortable being naked.
Hey, I am the naked neighbor.
The naked neighbor.
I know, and then Tony likes to dash out there. Actually, the states where people are least confident is a tie between Indiana and Oregon. Now you've got Oregon up there by Washington. It doesn't make sense.
Oregon? Come on,
I
really?
know, right? And Nebraska is next. All right, I get it. Followed by Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
And
we
the
are
top
on that
5
list.
least confident. Well, we have long winters here. We eat a lot. We get pasty white and a little flabby. I get it.
I
Sure.
think Candace is going to have to lead the Gopher State out of the darkness. This is your quest, Candace.
I am really white.
Not
though.
down the street.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
speaking figuratively.
Yeah, you make it look good, though.
It's hard to miss when I'm in the window.
I suppose you're almost fluorescent. You're so pale.
It's like
There's a ghost?
It's a Casper-esque vision.
Honey, that naked ghost is across the street again.
Wow. It's like Elmer's glue, but naked. Just thinking of the whitest thing I can imagine.
That's pretty white.
She's like liquid paper in lady form.
Luminescent pearls.
Luminescent pearls.
Well, yeah, I just, like I said, it's my house. Shower to the bedroom. Not going to waste my time getting dressed. And then sometimes I, leave my phone in the living room. And then sometimes I want to get a snack on my way up. So, it's just, I'm not going to waste my time.
Didn't you talk about a roommate earlier?
Yeah, well, obviously when she's not home.
Okay.
But then my hot neighbor is outside a lot, too. And then
yeah.
I just forget about
Are you advertising?
The roommate's gone, but the neighbor's got the weed eater in his hands.
I love how she says, and my roommate always leaves the blinds open. Like, don't you know how they work?
And the luck.
Do a DIY on blinds.
Oh.
I think you're a little bit of an exhibitionist. But that's fun. That's playful. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
All right. You ever do we had a nudist call in. They have some nude campgrounds around here. People go out, and that's just their thing. It's not sexual. They just love being naked, all natural, in public. I will say this. I did a hike out there in Montana, completely 100% out by myself. I'm off trail. It's a beautiful sunny day, about 75 degrees, light breeze. And, I did. I pulled it all off and laid down there in the grass and just relaxed, tried to take a little bit of nature in, and it feels pretty good being naked outside. Yeah. If you're not worried about other people, coming up on you.
I never thought about this as being maybe weird, but you guys tell me. I've done that too, but I only do that when I'm touring Civil War battlefields. Is that weird?
No, it's historic.
When I'm at like Bull Run or Gettysburg, I'm like, Hang on.
Kids, get back in the car.
Let me get behind that elm tree for a minute and see what happens.
That old naked Reb out there again.
I just want to get in touch with what the men of that time were going through. Maybe.
It's all right.
Something about this line
I
right
wonder,
here.
Maybe that's how we get rid of that whole damn war thing. All right, you guys can have your war. You guys can kill each other en masse, but you have to do it naked. I think I'd be less likely to want to charge naked. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
take the pill box.
Take it one step further. You line up the armies. They stand across the field from each other.
Naked.
And the highest-ranking generals from each side. Gentlemen, strip down and meet in the middle. And you just get these two saggy old men to go wrestle each other like naked bears, and the winner wins and the losers go home.
Oh, I'd be pro-war.
How about that?
I'd be pro-war, I think.
That's what I'm saying. That'd be great. Put it on pay-per-view. Which is not, listen, the original, the battles at the Bull Run in Virginia, those were kind of like pay-per-view battles. All the aristocrats from D.C., they rode out with their horse and carriage to watch the battle because they just thought it was going to be like fun to watch the Union troops wipe the Rebs off the field. And it didn't actually work out that way. They were suddenly screaming back to D.C. going, holy crap, they're chasing us.
Chasing them out of Manassas. Yeah, that was, and then it went on and got super bloody. They did that, a couple of different times there during the Civil War. But yeah.
Hey, listen, no promises. No promises at all. Mm-hmm. And I probably shouldn't even draw the line from one story to another. But KQ Morning Show, we are hitting the road for a long weekend up north out in the woods. Just saying. KQ up north with BigDeck.com, October 5th through the 8th at Cragun's Resort on Gull Lake. If you've got your own spot up there, or if you have a place to stay nearby, you can join us with a day pass. You can get yourself a day pass at 92kqrs.com. We're going to have a live broadcast of the KQ Morning Show. There's going to be drinks on a boat cruise. Go to 92kqrs.com. Pick up your day pass, or if you want to stay with us at the resort, you can buy all in. Sponsored by BigDeck.com. Cragun's Resort on Gull Lake. Again, no promise of nudity. Not suggesting that's going to be a part of this trip.
I'm looking forward to seeing some big decks.
That big deck crew, Tony and I were doing some partying with them. They might, take it to the next level. Candace, I see you hanging out with Jim and Mike and Ange from Big Deck. They're just the kind of wildens that might take it there. So tomorrow morning on the KQ Morning Show, when I hit this again, we're dissecting our wildest dreams with dream analyst Lane Dolphin. Going to be on the air with us. We've already got some coming in on the KQ Facebook page. Join that. Sometimes it's going to be up all day till tomorrow morning.
Hey, is it cool if I ask her what does it mean that my wildest dream is still to be the starting point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers? Is that what we're talking about?
We could be talking about that.
You're not talking about daydreams. You're talking about dreams. Okay, my bad. Sorry.
Dreams. Here, just one right off the top. Brian, when I was a kid, I dreamt I was stuck in a paper bag and couldn't get out. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? That means something. All right. Well,
in a paper bag, but you could tear through the paper, I would think.
Yeah. Well, I know, but what does the dream mean, man? What time is our dream analyst Lane Dolphin going to be on tomorrow? Do we know?
9.
9 o'clock. All right. So you've got some time.
24 hours from right now.
Yeah. Get your dreams in.
We're going to be Freudening up ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a Bob Marley song? Freuden up yourself.
You guys really feeling?
Yeah, I'm sorry. See, it's August 1st. Weed's legal. I'm singing Bob Marley songs about dreams. What can I tell you?
A little less than 24 hours for you two to come up with a theme song for dream analyst Lane Dolphin. Something reggae-ish, I'm thinking.
We'll get there.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Tuesday, August the 1st, 2023, a day that we will all look back on and go, oh, yeah, that's when I just started smoking pot again, because it's legal. You can smoke weed in the privacy of your own home. That includes your yard. Don't go to the sidewalk, though. Stay in the grass. Keep the grass in the grass, as they say. The movie Barbie continues to roll around. Worldwide, it's closing in on $1 billion. It'll be there any minute. It's an absolute phenomena, and it's a great movie. It's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. My wife and I loved it. I haven't talked to anybody who's seen it that didn't like it. A fight broke out during a screening of the Barbie movie.
What?
And people are saying, well, this is because everyone's so worked up about the movie itself, and people are walking in there with such high hopes, and there's a lot of emotion.
What?
The blood is flowing because the crowds are so anticipatory that they go nuts. And I'm here to say that has nothing to do with why this fight broke out, because this is one of those stories where if I were watching a documentary on, I don't know, foot massage, I'd have a fight if this happened. Check this out. You're in the theater. You've waited to see this movie. You're with your friends, and yeah, there's excitement, and there's a lot of it's one thing about the Barbie movie. It's a group endeavor. Like, people are going with groups of friends, and then you're in a theater with strangers, and then you're looking at them and high-fiving. It's one of those things. It just brings everyone together. It's a great thing. Check this out. Tensions rose in a theater because while people are watching Barbie, some parents had a small child with them. They gave their small child a device so the child could watch YouTube videos while everyone else in the theater watched Barbie. Did they give their child headphones or a headset? No, just an iPad with the volume up.
What?
Okay.
Oh.
And a fight broke out, and people are going, everyone's too cooked up over Barbie. No, everyone's too cooked up over some ignoramus going into a theater with a device and giving it to a kid and saying, have fun.
You know,
volume up.
Do theaters kick anyone? They certainly kicked people out when I was a kid. I was that kid a couple of times. They got kicked out for being a hooplehead in a theater. Do they kick anyone out anymore? Is it too confrontational? I'm being serious.
There's a video of this that is on. There's a TikTok link that shows this. Two women in a heated argument. One woman shoved the other with such force she fell between the seats. That woman jumped up and lunged, shoe in hand, at the attacker. The fight stemmed, again, as I said, irritation over a child watching YouTube at maximum volume during the film. Listen, I'm annoyed if I'm at a restaurant and I hear somebody watching something on a phone or an iPad. That's a restaurant, for crying out loud. I'm like, I want to hear general conversation. I want to hear a little music. I don't want to hear, come on, let me eat my chili dog in peace.
Why
for crying out loud?
There shouldn't be the child should be, why is the child watching anything but the movie?
I know.
You couldn't find a sitter? Guess what? Stay home.
Yeah, by the way,
You're
it's Barbie and it's a kid. Trust me, they can keep up. It's not you're not at some, these cave drawings from France in the 13th century. It's not that. It's not a documentary on anything. It's Barbie. Let your kid watch Barbie, or better yet, don't bring your kid to a movie theater. And when people say, "But I couldn't find a sitter," then stay home.
While it's essential to consider others' experiences in the theater, resorting to violence is never acceptable. Disagree 100%.
Not in that case.
Yeah, right.
This is something that I thought was strange. So Rosemary and I went to see Oppenheimer Sunday in Burnsville at the IMAX 70 millimeter. It was incredible. And I saw something on the screen before the movie I've never seen before. You see the previews, and then you see the thing. It says silence your phones, no texting during the movie. It says, if you see someone using their phone, please tell a member of the staff. And then a whole separate screen came up, and it said, underage drinking will not be tolerated. If you see people drinking, and I'm like, what, kids are just sneaking booze into the movies now? Is that the thing? It was a whole separate page of the screen talking about underage drinking.
Well, the nicer theaters now, they have a bar right there in the theater.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they did have.
But you have to have ID to get booze, don't you? I suppose someone else might. We've been doing this since the 80s. I assume they were doing it before that. But to Steve's point, why all of a sudden does it end up on the screen before the movie?
That's just that warning screen I'd never seen before. What were you saying, Candace?
Oh, I was just saying I had the prettiest pink drink when I went to Barbie at the Edina Theater. They have a beautiful bar at the Edina Theater. It's all decked out like The Shining.
Okay.
So it's gold ceilings, gold walls, and there's a bunch of Shining memorabilia around that you can take photos with. But they had Barbie drinks. They had
what was in it? What was in the pinky?
Oppenheimer. Booze.
I hope you don't mind.
You don't even care.
I hope you don't mind that I'm expressing disappointment. I thought when this story started, you too were going to share a story about being in a fight during Barbie. That's what I was hoping for. Candace Wheeler throwing hands at Barbie.
There was a fight that broke out when I went to see the Blues Brothers in the old Skyway Theater during the scene when Aretha Franklin is singing Think, and two women start battling, and a bouncer from the infamous Moby Dick's bar across the street came over to help break it up with karate.
Yeah.
It was just surreal.
Yeah. Everybody was kung fu fighting back then. Yeah.
Just think, a world before smartphones. If we had that footage today, that would be really two women just going at it in the Blues Brothers movie.
Yeah, fist fight.
I wonder if one of them is a big Aretha fan, and the other one said like, "She's overrated. She's done." Boom. That's fighting words right there. The worst. It's funny you say that. Well, it's not funny you say that. It's interesting. One of the craziest fights I've ever seen was between two women. I've seen in my life several, at least 3 different times off the top of my head where two women or two girls were going at it. And it's hundreds of times more violent than any two dudes I've ever seen in a fight. Because I think by the time, maybe this is a sexist thing I'm about to say, by the time two women are ready to throw hands, they're literally going to kill each other. Like there's just a level of, oh, no, you didn't. And it's on.
Right.
The first one was like in 6th grade. Two girls I thought were totally normal, rational people had to be separated by multiple adults because they were going to kill each other. Wow. And then there was one time I was at a bar in Cincinnati, and I walked out, and in the parking lot, two women were in the middle of a fight, and one of the women, I'll just tell you where it ended up. They were standing face to face with a light pole in between them. And one woman had very long hair, and the other woman had her hair wrapped up around both of her hands, and she was pulling her face into the pole using her own hair.
Wow.
Like it was handles. And she was just bang, bang, slamming this woman's face into a power pole with her own hair as the pole, as the where she got a grip on. And I just thought, a dude would do that once, and it'd be like,
maybe.
The embarrassment is enough to end this fight. But they were still going. The woman was like, keep smashing my face. If you let go of my hair, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, they'll go to the hair, the eyes, anything goes.
Incredible. Yeah, that's not the only reason I don't fight with women, but it's one of them. I'm terrified.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Candace, ever been in a hook? A full-on fight for real?
Oh, my gosh. No, I'm a lover.
It's great. Then it's even scarier to imagine, because if it happens, all those years just never flipping that switch, and if it does, get out of town. Make no mistake about that. Jeez, that's terrifying to think of. All right, well, so as long as we're looking back on great female fights we've seen over the years, why don't we add to it? How about a sport history lesson?
What exactly is going on?
What exactly is going on?
Yeah, what exactly is going on?
We're going to have to bring in Gorman for questioning.
Steve, what's up?
That's incredible. August 1st, 1978, Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds was in the midst of a tremendous hitting streak, 44 straight games. That's as close as anybody had ever come to Joe DiMaggio's streak of 56 games, and that's where the streak ended in a giant blowout loss to the Atlanta Braves. The Reds lost 16-4. Gene Garber struck Pete Rose out in the top of the 9th to end the game. Garber pumped his fists and jumped around, having slayed the dragon that was Pete Rose, bringing that hitting streak to a stop. After the game, Pete Rose complained about Gene Garber out there playing like it's Game 7 of the World Series. Rose was bitter about it. And I saw that. I was 12 years old, and I thought, God, Pete Rose is such a pussy.
Yeah, if you weren't such a dick, you wouldn't have celebrated so much.
It's like, dude, you were at bat with every bit of the same intensity you'd have if it was Game 7 of the World Series. Why should the pitcher be any different?
Yep.
The fact that he was so excited tells you how important it was to get you out. I mean, it was a big deal. The end of the streak, and you're Pete Rose. And, from that day, I kind of went, I don't like this Rose fella. And I was, like I said, I was only 12, and I said at the time, and you can see this in a home movie, I bet he's shut out of the Hall of Fame and sells his autographs at Cooperstown. No, I didn't say that. I wish I had. On this day in 1996, during the Atlanta Summer Olympic Games, Michael Johnson won the 200 meters wearing really, really badass gold shoes, if you remember. He ran 200 meters in 19.32 seconds. All I can tell you is that is moving.
Yeah.
That's 100-meter races at 9.6 seconds each if you split it in half. Nobody'd ever run 100 in 9.6 at that time. Now, it's a different thing. You get up to full speed and stay there longer. So, granted, the times are going to be a little distorted. But I'm saying his fastest 100 yards in the 200 was faster than anybody had ever run a 100-yard dash, or 100 meter, I should say. An amazing moment for Michael Johnson.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.